Okay. Let's let those notifications go out. All right, everybody. Yes, we made it. We made it. We made it. A little bit later than usual, but here we are. Here we are. And yeah, we decided that we washed our hair and we just wanted to let it roll today. Just let it roll. All right, so let those notifications go out. We're going to talk about it. I've got my notes. Yep, I've got notes here. And y'all can chime in. Okay, y'all can chime in at any time with some additional notes. Okay, because we're going to talk about this very important thing. Our fellow warrior Chris asked this question in one of the comments on another video, and I thought, you know what, this would be a great let's just chat topic, because I get it, because we all as we're purging the subconscious and yeah, unlearning lies, the narcissistic matrix and all of that, what it depicts love as. We learn later in life that it's nothing like that. It's not that at all. That's not love. The things that it is telling us, not love. You know, because God is love, right? Yeah, God is love. And we're gonna talk about that. But let me go ahead while the notifications are going out. I'm watching the clock there, so I can see about how long it takes for that. Okay. Okay, there we go. All right, there you go. And I am going to go ahead and pull up the Bible verse that tells us that God is love. So let me go in here and get that for you all real quick. I've got it on my, I have it on my Bible verse board back at the room. But hey, Chris, thank you for inspiring this, by the way, Chris. Thank you for inspiring this topic today, because it's very important. I thought we really need to get up here and have this discussion so that people can get a better idea. You know, post narcissistic abuse, you're like, well, then what the hell is love? You know, what is love, right? Okay, well, we know that God is love. And so, okay. All right, and it's in 1 John, okay, y'all, 1 John chapter 4, verse 8. So he that loveth not knoweth not God, for God is love. Okay, again, that is 1 John chapter 4, verse 8. All right, so basically, when you think of the narcissist, okay, they don't love because they don't have access to the God spirit in them. Let me be clear here. When they decided to accept the mark of the beast, they developed the entitlement mindset. They're demonically possessed. The human host is demonically possessed. The God spirit still, remember, it is a spiritual battle for the mind. Okay? It's a spiritual battle for the mind. So again, that's 1 John chapter 4, verse 8, where we're told, no, God is love. And I'm going to lead into some other things. I have my notes for you all. Because God is love. Okay, so the definition that the world has of love, we're not even going to touch that. We're not going to touch the definition that the Matrix has for the word love. No. Chosen ones, we have the God spirit. God is love. So we got to remember something that we were taught, because we have to unlearn it now. There are not different levels of love. Nope. I know. Some of y'all will be like, wait, what? Hear me out. God is the Almighty God. He is the one and only God. There are not different levels of God. There are not. Now, others may worship different gods, which we're not supposed to do. But there is one God. He is the Almighty God. There are not different levels of God. And so God is love. I'm going to get into what love is first, and then we're going to talk about the love bond. Because the trauma bond is what the narcissist, right, and the devil, okay, the trauma bond is that unhealthy attachment to people and things. It's like a drug addiction. But real and genuine love, God is love. It's not going to have that. It's not going to have an unhealthy or attachment of any kind. Because the narcissist, they lose access. See, God turns them over to a reprobate. He sends them strong delusion. So they don't have access to the love. They don't. They don't know what it is. They don't understand it. Because God, the Spirit of God on the inside is love. And there's not different levels. So it's time, y'all, take these notes to purge this from the subconscious. You do not have a friendship type love. You do not have sisterly or brotherly type love. You do not have parental type love. You do not have an acquaintance type love. You do not have, you follow me here, right? We were taught all that nonsense, that there were different types of love. No, there's not. There's only one. God is love. Love is many things, but it's not many levels. Not different levels. And it does not contain anything that resembles an attachment style. Oh, I know some people in the field of psychology are going to be like, what? There are attachment styles, yes. But genuine love has nothing to do with them. Genuine, true blue love. God is love. Has no attachments. Nothing. No attachment styles. No. Those do exist, psychologically speaking, emotionally speaking. But love has no part in any of it. God is love. I'm going to get to your question here in a moment. God is love. Okay, so again, God is not different levels. God is not different types. So there's not any different type of love. Again, you don't have a particular type of love for a friend and then a different type of love for a family member. No, it doesn't work that way. We used to think that. We used to think that because that's what we were taught. It's a big fat lie. God, one God, the Almighty. God is love. Boom. One, that's it. There's no levels, there's no different type, there's nothing like that. So, we got to lose the old ways of thinking in terms of love. Because love is patient. Love is kind. Love is understanding. Love is joy. Love is peace. Love is happiness. Again, love does not contain an attachment style of any kind. Love is not psychological. Love is not emotional. Love is not physical. Love is spiritual. God is love. God is a spirit. Love is spiritual. Because your joy, happiness, all that's spiritual. I know spiritual energies, emotion are emotion. But love itself is not an emotion. You have happiness, that's an emotion. You have patience, that is kind of, I don't know if it's really an emotion, but yeah. Right, but love itself, it's not. Love itself contains many things. Okay, but it's not different levels. It's all consistent. There's another thing. Love is consistent. Okay? Love is not mushy-gushy. No. What you see, all this, the mushy-gushy falling all over each other type stuff, in Hallmark movies or romance movies or what you read, or hot and steamy romance novels. No, that's lust. So love is not romance. And then love is not taught. Like, you can't teach somebody how to love. Either they do or they don't. Okay? Narcissists cannot love because they cannot access the God spirit in them. Remember that. They don't know that love is all positive thing. But it's also discipline. Yeah, it's also discipline. So I wanted to get on here and go ahead and talk about the love bonds, okay? When you start talking about bond, don't equate that to attachments per se, okay? A love bond is not an attachment. I know, a trauma bond, however, that is. There's your difference. I know you'll be like, wait, is that not contradictory? It depends on how you use the word bond. Think about the context. Okay? Trauma bond. Okay, trauma's not good. Bond being an attachment. Unhealthy attachment. Love is actually a good thing. It's positive. A love bond. Okay, just to help y'all put it in perspective. It's spiritual. So, in that context, with the love bond, you're talking about a mutual spiritual connection. A love bond, because love is spiritual. You're going to have a mutual spiritual connection. Put that in the comments below. Spiritual connection. Love bond is a spiritual connection. Because that's what it is. A love bond is a spiritual connection, a mutual one. Narcissists don't have that. So they need to trauma bond because they themselves are trauma bonded to the world and to each other. And so that's what works to get people smitten. That's what sweeps people off their feet and feeds the image that the Matrix portrays about what love is. When it is not any of those things. So keep that in mind. Okay? Because love bonds, that spiritual connection, has zero manipulation involved. There's no manipulation. Okay? Love bonds a spiritual connection. That's right. It is a mutual spiritual connection. Thank you. And it's not going to have any manipulation. Nowhere. Okay? Two people who love each other, spiritual connection. A lot of times we don't even have to tell each other. We just know because we feel it. But it's not that mushy-gushy. No. No butterflies in the stomach. Remember, that butterfly feeling in the stomach, we come to learn later on. That's our intuition. That's God. That's the warning bell. That's not normal. But we were taught in the Matrix that meant you were falling head over heel. Or that you're getting excited about seeing somebody, getting a little excited about talking to somebody, being maybe a little nervous at first, but then you're excited, you're happy about talking to someone or meeting up with someone or whatever because of a mutual spiritual connection. It's very different. Very different. It's calm. Love is calm. It's not going to be all like chaos and drama. So, with that mutual spiritual connection, you will be excited about, hey, I know some of y'all get excited when we're, hey, Michelle's live, let's go, right? Okay, that's a mutual spiritual connection. But you're not doing it overly so. In other words, there's no saccharine or flamboyant type demeanor with that. It's like, hey, Michelle's live, let's go. Let's catch it. Or you catch it on the replay. You know, you'd be like, oh, darn, I'm busy right now. I can't catch it. But you know what? I'm going to catch that on the replay. That's right. chosen one. You're going to catch it on the replay. You're going to learn what it is we have to say, because this is a God revelation. How do I, okay, writing all this down after I had my talk with God on my walk. When I went on my morning walk, and I asked God, I said, okay, how are we going to break it down? So, like, you can't teach love. Just like you can't teach empathy. You can't. Okay? So love bond, that spiritual connection, it's not going to contain any type of manipulation. Whereas the trauma bond is going to contain manipulation. Specifically, manipulation of the brain's chemistry. Dopamine, norepinephrine. Dopamine, euphoric high. Norepinephrine, the deval, right? Love bomb, deval. Love bomb, deval. Constant push-pull on the dopamine and norepinephrine, aka adrenaline. So, love bomb, deval. And over time, that causes the walking on eggshell. Not knowing which version of this narcissist you're going to get from moment to moment. And so let me go ahead and get y'all comments, all right? You know, I wanted to get the gist of things going, okay? And so, yes, we all were, okay? Listen, Chris, we all were conditioned, okay? As a child, we were all conditioned to believe that love was a romantic type physical love. That's what's shown to us. It's part of the visual conditioning that takes place inside the matrix. So yeah, well, when you listen, as far as God being a jealous God, I know he said that, but y'all got to understand something. That's not the demon of jealousy. It's very, very different. Okay? Very, very different in context. We know what jealous means. Okay, but we know the translators only had access to certain alphabetic letters and things at that time of translation. And I've talked about this before, but it should say that God is a zealous with a Z, not J. All right, so keep that in mind, that God is a zealous God. So, you know, a bond or in bondage with true love. Yeah, no, you want to think more of it as a connection. But to help y'all put it in perspective, so we can do the comparison between a love connection and trauma bond, love bond versus trauma bond. So we're just bringing it all together, and again, in context, okay? So we all were conditioned to believe that in childhood, that true love is a romantic physical love, and it's not. That's lust. Anything that has to do with physical type activity in that way, sexual stuff, that's all lust. Every bit of it is lust. So, well, yeah, you can say that compassion can be confused with love. Sure. Compassion can be confused with love. But I think you're right about compassion being another aspect of love. Okay, so you could say love, well, yeah, it's going to have compassion, okay? Empathy and compassion are part of the love connection. But we don't just give it away freely. That's the difference. We don't do that anymore. Yeah, we don't give it away freely anymore. So, well, of course, we all had a lot of heartaches and stuff because of the love attachments. Excuse the sunshine. I'm trying to get it off of my face. That's the way it goes this time of day. Okay, yeah. Well, see, that's the other thing. A lot of people associate love with the heart. Okay. How do I put this? Okay. You know, your heart doesn't actually look like the shape that we think the heart is, right? All right, that's not what it actually looked like. You can Google it, okay, and learn. And it is a muscle, okay? But heartbreak, heartache over love attachment. Well, of course, because those weren't love connection. Those were trauma bond. If you felt heartache or heartbreak over the loss of someone or breaking up with someone, that's because of a trauma bond. That's because of a trauma bond. That was not love. That was a trauma bond. And, well, yeah, because chosen one, knowing that God is love, and let's say we lose somebody that we love, let's say they pass away, we don't feel heartache or heartbreak. We shouldn't, because there should be no trauma bond there. It's just that understanding. Remember I said in the very beginning, love is understanding. So you understand it was their time to go. And so it was great while they were here, and you were able to have that spiritual connection with them. But when it's their time, it's their time. So love is understanding. So there should be no trauma bond type heartbreak or heartache over that loss. Okay, so love is not, right, love itself, as I said early on, love itself is not an emotion. It contains some emotion, but it's not an emotion itself. Remember, God is not emotional. God is a spirit. Okay? So, I know you talk about the wrath of God or what have you, but God is consistent. God is not going to be all up and down and everywhere with emotions. He's not going to be moody. Love is not moody. Love is consistent. So, yes, we have warriors against narcissism. Well, yeah, when they're trying to do the trauma bond and stuff like that, one of the best ways to deal with them is basically, just observe them and don't absorb them. Because that's what they're trying to do, is trauma bond us. And so, where I am sitting, you all, I have never sat here before to do a live, so I didn't know how the sun was going to pan out during these hours. So, just bear with me, okay? Just bear with me. But I'm not going to move around all over this parking lot, okay? We're just not going to do it today. And for those of you who have been with us for a while, I want to give you an update. Yes, this is getting a lot better. Thank you. Yes, it is. There's a lot of salt water that got during the physical assault. Yeah, there's a lot of salt water that got trapped up in there. So it's just taking its time to work its way out. One day at a time, right? Remember, God's progress. So thank you for understanding this is not permanent. No! All storms are temporary. And so we've been keeping an eye on it, ice packing and things like that, but we're very aware of it. And I know that the Jezebel case study likes to check in and see her handiwork. Well, she won't be able to see it forever unless she comes back and goes back and watches videos where it shows. But it's not permanent. We know that. And so, yes. Love and heart. That's why I was trying to figure out how we going to break this down. Okay, because we shouldn't be feeling any kind of heartache or heartbreak, because that stems from a trauma bond. So, since we're talking about a mutual spiritual connection when it comes to love, well, and I don't necessarily think, honestly, it's not something that we feel or necessarily will feel like an emotion that we feel. It's not that. It's just kind of like a you already know type thing. It's kind of like how our ANS operates in the subconscious without us knowing. Well, love is kind of the same way. Think about, God is love. So God is basically, yeah. I mean, okay, there we go. I'm just shy. Well, because the sun's shining on me makes it difficult for me to see what's going on up here with the clock and other thing. So, yeah, love is a spiritual connection. Thank you. All right, yeah, now you're starting to understand how love is not the same as a trauma bond. It's not. It can't be. But we didn't know that. We didn't know that at the time. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. So it looks like I'm going to change my mind. I said I wasn't going to move around a whole lot on y'all, but that's getting to be a bit much in that respect. So bear with me. I know you're like, what? Yeah. It's just not, that's just not happening. Not happening. We're gonna ride. Well, I was trying to, like I said, trying a different spot out to see if that would be a decent area. Only to come over to this one and find out, well, okay. Let's try this again. Yeah, right in my face there. Try this one here. Alright, squirrel, this is not a Geico commercial. Thank you. Alright, there we go. Now, see how we doing there. Okay. Alright. Well, like I said, in this location, okay, that's a lot better. Thank y'all. So I stand corrected. I know I said earlier I wasn't going to keep moving. Well, we're not going to keep moving around. We should be good to go here. To wrap this up and all of that. Get your questions answered and stuff. Okay. Might be a little bit noisier. All right, there we go. Okay. And, well, see, over where I was not right next to the, I wasn't right next to the highway, but now where I'm at over here, the highway's right behind me. And so that's why I was over there a lot quieter, because we weren't as close to the highway as we are over here. So, it is what it is. Okay, well, it's going to be what it's going to be in order for it to be a little bit quieter for y'all and for me as well. So there we go. All right. So, back to it. Well, I'm glad that, I'm happy to hear that. Okay, I'm glad that when y'all can think of me during the day and it cheers you up. That's good. That's a good thing. See, when I think of y'all, I'm praying for y'all, and I'm coming up with new stuff for y'all. I'm excited to come up here and talk about these things when y'all inspire this stuff too. And so It does. It warms my heart as well. So yeah, I guess you could say that, the love and the heart. Yeah, I mean it's they're connected, but I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that love, because God is a spirit. Our heart and soul resides in the subconscious mind, and I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that. Yeah, I like to try and love with the heart, sure. Lead with the heart, no. You know what I'm saying? You want to lead with the mind. You want to lead with your logic, your clarity, and all of that. But love with the heart. Okay, I could see that, but don't lead with it. You see, we learned that. I know a lot of people have said they always say the Matrix wants you to let your heart lead the way. We learn not to do that. There's memes on Quora even, where we see it said, the heart and the mind, no. We gotta, one or the other, man. But we lead with the mind. We love with the heart. Two different things. A zealous and protective God. Yes, as we were talking about earlier. And that's the thing. Love, thank you, Chris, because the difference between love and lust. See, lust is all part of the trauma bond. Lust is because of the trauma bond, but also a big part of it. And that's why I say that we all have to get trauma bonded to the world first before we can be trauma bonded to a narcissist. Because if we're not trauma bonded to the world, then we're not going to have any lustful desires, right? So they have to feed us all these images of the Hallmark movies. They have to feed us all these images of what they want us to think love is in order to feed our fleshy desires. And it's all based on lust, not love. And so we don't know that, okay, right away. And I will tell y'all that when I thought, when I was 17 and I thought that was my first love, my first real love, I remember my biological dad telling me, he said, you weren't in love, you were in lust. And of course, a 17-year-old me was not listening. Right? So you learn more about that. Is it love at first sight in Real Events of Narcissistic Abuse, Someone's Survival Guide? That is my book. One of them. And it's the very first narcissistic situation I found myself in, but I didn't know that's what it was at the time, till much later when I was able to reflect all the red flags and the things that I missed. We all miss the triangulation and, the lies and the cheating and because we were letting our heart lead the way. We thought we were in love, but we were in lust. And so that's what happened inside the matrix. That narcissistic matrix wants us to think that everything it's showing us. So lust is temporary. If it is, think about it. It's like, why else is it when we were in these narcissistic situation or situationships, addictionships, what have you, that euphoric feeling, it didn't stay? Why? Because it's based on lust. It's very temporary. It's like, how they talk about the honeymoon phase? Yeah. Well, it goes away somewhere. I mean, So that you should never even have in a true blue relationship that's based on love. God. God is love. The God spirit. A godly relationship. You shouldn't even have that euphoric high. You shouldn't even have anything that had to do with lust. You shouldn't even have this honeymoon phase of the relationship. That shouldn't even exist. That only exists when there's a trauma bond. So and you change that thinking, because love should not hurt. That's what I was getting to earlier when I said when you lose somebody, love is understanding. So love shouldn't hurt. Love should not hurt. Right. And don't be stoking up the emotion and disturbing the mind. And, right, if you think about it, children are naturally loving, or they're supposed to be. Yeah, that son was a nuisance for the camera. Okay. Okay, and there you go. Learn to just, right, you go to work, get the bag, get out. There's no love involved there. Right, no love there. So, well, and that's the thing. It's going to take you a little while to wrap your head around the fact that, love is not an emotion. And you may have to watch this a few times and get past when we had to move the car. But yeah, again, and I've got this list, it's like love is patient, it is kind, it is understanding, it's joy, it's peace, it's happiness. Okay, and love does not come with any attachment style. Okay, you have psychological, emotional attachment, physical, also attachment styles that are often the result of trauma. So there'll be unhealthy attachment. Because really, y'all, we should not have any kind of attachment to people or things. 1 Timothy 6 verse 7, because we didn't bring anything in, we're not taking anything out. So there you go, all right? And lust, lust will mess with your mind. Lust is part of the trauma bond. Okay, the trauma bond is based on lust. Think about the spiritual wickedness in high places with narcissists. It's coming from their lust. It's coming from their need to feed their flesh. And so the lust, it will mess with your head. And it is. Yeah, lust can lead. Yeah, lust is like an addiction. Very, very good. Yep. Exactly. Addictions, all of them can lead to that. Yes. And so, right, you don't want to scratch that itch. Okay, so when the partner grows cold and suddenly they don't fancy or lust after us, it does feel like a loss. And that's why I'm saying it. That shouldn't even exist. If you're in a true blue, loving relationship, there should be none of that. There should be none of that fancy or lusting after. It shouldn't be there, because you should never feel a loss in a relationship, in a true blue relationship centered around the God spirit. God is love, genuine love. You should never ever experience a loss of sorts like that. That should not exist. Oh. Because the lust should be gone. I'm not saying that there isn't genuine, that is part of the compassion, but, well, God refers to it as natural affection for somebody that you love. That's one thing, but it's not mushy-gushy. If they like trying to, lust after you and being all touchy-feely all the time, that's not normal. That's not love. There's a difference between natural affection and being all touchy-feely and mushy-gushy. A huge difference. Because that touchy-feely all the time, mushy-gushy, you got to unlearn that. That's not love. That's lust. And that will cause you to feel a loss when they stop doing that. Because at some point, they will. So that's why in a true blue loving relationship between two people like that, that shouldn't even be there. Natural affection, okay. But there should not be that need to want to be all over each other. That's my point. And it's going to take y'all some practice to see love in the right way. I know that. Because we all have to unlearn a lot of things. It took me a little while. Yeah, there's no way I could get up here and give y'all these truths if I hadn't gone through it myself and now can see love in the right way. And for what it really is. Yeah, I had to go through it. So now y'all got to go through it. Got to purge that subconscious. Okay, so you're going to continue to, I see you can meditate on it. You can meditate on it. 1 John 4 verse 8, of course. but you're going to digest it. Okay, you gotta think about it. You gotta go, okay, yeah, because it's kind of like you have to flip the script now. It's like you have to think opposite of what the Matrix taught us love was. The Matrix, well, what it tried to teach us, tried to show us what love was. Everything associated with trauma bonding, lust. Okay, everything associated with the trauma bond is lust. That's after fleshy desires. That's not love. And it never was. We didn't know that yet. Now we're like, hold on a second. Natural affection, one thing. But being mushy-gushy, falling all over each other, feeling the need to have to be touching one another all the time, that's not love. Because love is spiritual. Right? And so, of course, as teenagers, we go through that touchy, exploitative stage that we should grow out of as adults. That's right. Yeah, organize your thinking. There you go. There you go. That's what it's all about. And, yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. And I know that you're not alone. There's going to be a lot of people who are going to want you. So thank you to all of you who catch this on the replay and you stick it out to the end there. But that wraps this up. I know it's a little bit shorter than usual, but I wanted to test out the best time. Like if I'm going to be out at this particular time going live, where I need to be sitting in this parking lot, and I think we figured it out. Okay, that over there, maybe after a certain time when the sun is out like that, okay. But, yeah, you're welcome again, and to all of you, welcome for breaking this down for you so you can purge that subconscious and start unlearning what the Matrix taught you love was, okay? That's, yeah, what the Matrix and all these movies depict as love is not love. That lust, God's clear about the fact that we have to put that away. And so we do have to change our thinking about love and start thinking of love in the right way, because God is love. And again, I got the list here, but, you know, God is love. And with all of that comes the peace, joy, understanding, kindness, okay? All the good things. And there's no attachment style where there's actual, genuine love. Love is spiritual. So we have to remember that. It's not physical, it's not emotional, and it's not psychological. It's spiritual, 100%. All right, everybody? So as always, check out those links in the description below to learn more about CHA, myself, okay, and this work where we are all about the trauma healing and spiritual growth while combating radio frequency for healthier living on CHA's YouTube channel, Narcissism and Cognitive Dissonance. I am Michelle Dickey, Master Consultant Coach, Trauma Specialist, and author. So, minister too. Don't forget about that. I am also your minister in this ministry, Consulting for Heightened Awareness, CHA. And welcome to all who are joining us in this growing community of spiritual warriors for Christ. Sending love and light to all fellow warriors. Thank you for watching, listening, and for your continued support. Till next time, let's show some gratitude to the Heavenly Father. And you keep being you. In Jesus' name, amen.